So to move an object, you could do it one of two ways. One, you could go over to the left-hand corner here and you've got the move tool. When you click that, you can see that the selected object, the lamp, has this gizmo, it's called, with these axes on it. And if I just clicked and dragged on any of those arrows there, you can see I can move it along any of those axes. I could also just click on that white circle.
This is Blender, and let's see today how to move the lights in Blender. So we have
axes, like, you know, I like these arrows here and I want to be able to move it on just a specific those arrows there. You can see I can move it along any of those axes. I could also just click on that white circle there and that will just freehand drag it depending on my view. But it's kind of tedious. Every time you want to move something, you have to like go to that tool and then find the arrows and yada yada. So actually most people in Blender prefer to use the hotkeys. So we just keep it in the default. Now I've just tapped the key and you'll notice as I move my cursor that it's now attached to my cursor. It's not, my cursor isn't even axes. Well, I can do that whilst I'm in that grab state as well. So after I have hit the G key to grab it, I can then tap the letter of the axes that I want to move it on. So if you don't know, in the real world and in the 3D software, there are 3 axes because there's 3 dimensions. There's the X axis, which I can move it by hitting the X key. The
games I've made, old Roblox accounts that I made, but one thing I've really tried to avoid bringing up is my past crimes I've done.
Take a screenshot of it, but that would be silly because it's got all these lines all over. It's all noisy, right? We don't like it. The way you take a photo, a pretty image in Blender, is to do a render. So you could do that one of 2 ways, by going up to render and hitting render image, or remembering the hotkey, which says next to it F12. So when you do that, a little window will pop and it will render out a pretty image. And from here, you could go image and then save as, and that'll save it at number pad 0. So how do we move the camera? Well, Blender's a little awkward, maybe a little different to other software packages, but you're supposed to like hit G to move it and then like middle mouse to zoom in and out. And then if you want to like move it along an axis, I guess G and then X. You could do that, but actually what a lot of users prefer, especially those as I want, then hit N again, and then I can disable that. And then now as I pull out, you can see that the camera will stay exactly where it was, and I could do a lovely, pretty render. But this is too simple. If we post this on the internet, people are bound to make fun of us. Imagine that. Well, we could give it some color, right? So with our monkey, change the color to something else, essentially. So
Felipe custom admin commands where I was a giant Felipe and laser people 5 years ago. Junkbot admin for children. Yep, I still have the ultimate trolling GUI admin commands. Look, we got Tiffany Miami. We'll start out with Tiffany Miami because I actually have no idea what this one does. So I turn into the evil witch, Tiffany Mayume.
Ooh, IOR subsurface. Again, don't worry about it. We'll get to all of that later on. The one that defines the color is the base color. So if I do a single left click on, creepy skin toned monkey head, right? Well, I think people will think we haven't put enough effort into this masterpiece. So let's add another object. Let's give the monkey a hat. So if we want to need to learn another tool, which is scale. So we could go to the scale tool there, and then we get this familiar and exciting color, a vibrant aqua color. Why not? Give that a render by hitting F12. Okay, camera is in the wrong position. Select my camera, and rather than dabbling with that little thing I had before, and then I gotta rotate it. All right, so I'm gonna rotate. So with the camera selected, tap R, practical building stuff in the next part. I'm just trying to find ways to throw in these like fundamental tools. So you could enable the rotate tool, right? The familiar axes there. You could click and rotate it around like that. Again, most people prefer to remember the hotkey, which is R to rotate, right? So it's now just freehand rotate F12. And we've done it. Let's save it. Let's upload it to ArtStation and then just wait for the recruiters, essentially. All right, let's start a new scene so that we can get ready for part 2, where we're going to actually start building our donut and learning some of the more core features of Blender. So click here and I will see you in part 2.